It is me once again. We're here in a bathrobe. Matthew, and this is my friend Levi. Not Levi. Leanne, I'm sorry. Um, but we're going to be talking about the movie Village, directed and written by M. Night Shyamalan. I don't know if I said his name correctly, but I thought it was an interesting film. I mean, I went into it. This was actually my first watch through all of it.
Mhm.
I I knowing the premise of it already. I
Right.
mean, it wasn't scary. I don't think much of his movies are scary. I mean,
Right, they're more twists. There's a
yeah,
twist
there's
in
always a
them.
twist. There's always what did you think about it?
Well, I think that I saw it when it first came out, which was 2004. So it's about 20 years old. And
Which was
I
shocking
mostly,
to me.
yeah, it is. I mostly saw it because my favorite actor is in it, Joaquin Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw it probably right when it came out. And at that point, I didn't know what the twist was. So I thought I was watching like a simple 19th century village, and I didn't know all the things that were going to happen.
I
So
didn't know. That's another thing. I was like, what period was this supposed to take place? Was it the like you said 19
yeah,
or was it 18?
yeah, I think it's probably 1800s.
Uh-huh.
They didn't have electricity, right? They were
Nope.
using
They were
gas
using
and or like kerosene lamps
yeah.
and candles. Everyone was in like clothes they had
Mm-hmm.
made. The houses were pretty simple. They were using fireplaces. So I assumed that that's what it was. And then
The one thing that sort of confused me about the century
Mhm.
was the some of the villagers, like the young ones, they were wearing what I think they're called bowler hats.
Okay.
And I know bowler hats did not come around until into the 1900s.
Right.
So if that's why it looked like a mix of different
Right.
of, but yeah.
Yeah, that's a detail that I didn't catch. So
Mm.
good catch on that. So yeah, I think there's interesting actors in it. Are there any actors that you particularly like?
I did have his name down, but I can't remember it. The father,
Yes.
the father who eventually, which later on I will talk about. He was very compelling to me. He's very always in the films he is. I can. Do you remember what his name
I
is?
don't, but I had it pulled up on my phone at one point. So let me see. Yeah,
I
that actor.
liked all of the main cast, even some of the Sigourney Weaver.
Yes.
I was shocked to see her in this. I was
Right.
like, she is in this?
Yes. William Hurt. That's the actor.
William Hurt.
Yes. And Adrian Brody was in it. Bryce Dallas Howard. Well, and Joaquin Phoenix, of course.
Mhm.
And then eventually we get to see Night Shyamalan
Yes.
at the in the guard shack.
Yes, he does his cameos. Um, there was a young, I can't remember his name, and I can't remember. He's been in a lot of other. He played it. He plays in a lot of more comedy movies.
Okay.
I don't know if you, but you. He was with the like the young kids, and then he
Oh.
also he showed up right when his that the father's daughter was returning,
Oh, okay.
and he said she's back, and I'm like, is that who I think it is?
Yeah, and with it being so old, I mean, 20 years ago, there's probably lots of actors in there that
Yeah,
we know more now
yeah,
that have kind of had success.
yeah, yeah. He probably got a breakout role in this. I don't know, but it the basically I don't know if you want to go into spoilers now, but we could. The village is basically about a group of settlers. Well, not settlers, but they're people who decide to live off the grid, but live like it was, like she said, uh, most likely around in the 18 uh, hundreds and 1900s, but I mean, we just actually got out of the 1900s a while. About what did you say? How long has it been since? Because I remember hearing this joke about a young girl saying, "I found this reproduction of this record, well, not record player, but this player at a Swift store, and I know you put these things in it, and I know it's from the 1900s," and people were like, "What?"
Right, yep. Well, I was born in the late 1900s, and I'm sure you
Uh,
were too.
yeah. It's just odd when you say it like
Right,
that.
yeah, my kids do that. They say it like that to make me feel old.
But no, they chose to live back in that time period because I guess uh, each of these people had a tragic event happen to them, and they thought, well, it would be better off if they lived in an isolated way in this uh, a community. Because one thing I never thought about was until well, I did think about it, but I was like, how did they stop planes from going over this place?
I was wondering that too, and I've seen the movie so many different times that I think what had happened was the person who bought that woods and land
I think
made it a no-fly zone,
yeah,
something like that.
I think
But
that's what it was too. I think not Joaquin Phoenix, but uh, M. Night, the guard.
yes,
He had mentioned something about that, like, oh, I had been getting some. I don't know. People had been talking to him about why are they making them,
go around.
yeah, go around that area.
Yeah, which is interesting. It's almost like it was a social experiment.
Yes, that's exactly what I had was one thing I had thought about too, because this is like because they have made documentaries about what would it be like if modern people went back and did this type of lived in this time period, like um, didn't turn out quite right. but but the oh, was there any favorite scenes from the movie that you like?
Yes. My favorite scene is when everyone is in their houses and the creatures are coming.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a scene where Bryce Dallas Howard, I forget her name in the movie, but she has
The one,
yeah,
is it red or
the red
blonde?
hair.
She blonde?
Ivy. She plays Ivy.
Okay.
Yeah. She has her hand out and she's waiting for some. She's blonde.
Yes.
And she has her hand out, and Joaquin Phoenix's character saves her, from the creatures.
I was going to say that too. That's one of my favorite scenes
Yes.
too.
Yeah. You want to talk about the creatures a little bit?
Sure.
Yeah. So initially, we're kind of told that they have to stay in the village.
Yes.
To stay out of the woods.
There's a border.
Yes, and there's these things that live out there.
Yes.
That could harm them.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think about that?
I thought, well, going into it, I knew the twist and I did know it was all fabricated, but also but I thought, well, this is interesting. Um, and then these towers that they built, I'm like, and then the color is one thing I was like,
That is, yeah, I forgot about the color. The color red.
the color red is like one of the colors that they can't talk about, and they can't, they don't, like,
They can't wear it or bring it
yeah.
in. Yeah. Yeah. So, and the creatures must be drawn to that color. They
Yeah.
say the creatures are drawn to that color. I think when you don't know what they look like, they're scarier.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you get to see them, they're really not that scary.
Yeah, they're not. I mean, they're basically what they made them out of is like a robe, and I don't know what they did to the.
Some sort of claw
Yeah,
thing,
it's
and
probably wood,
yeah,
and then a pig's. Probably like someone taxidermied a pig's head.
right. Yeah, and I guess that would be scary if you've never seen anything like
Yeah,
that, or
I mean, most of these. I'm guessing that the children of the original settlers are probably what? You think they're third or second generation?
I think probably second generation.
Second.
Yeah, because they didn't seem like there was a bunch of young children. There were some like 7, 8 year olds, and then I think Ivy was probably in her late teens to early
Yeah.
20s.
I'm going to guess she was not. Do you think she was born there or born outside?
I don't know.
I don't know. Some of the children, I think, I don't know. But Ivy is the daughter of, what did you say his name was again?
In the movie, it's Edward. Let's see, Edward Walker, but the actor is William Hurt.
Uh huh.
So in Ivy is Ivy Walker, and I remember in the guard shack,
Mm-hmm.
the guard was talking about there were signs I think that said Walker
Mm-hmm.
something like Walker Preserves or something like that, or Reserve Walker Reserve or something like that. So he must have had a lot of money to be able to buy all
Well,
of
if
that.
you remember, he talked about his father,
Mm-hmm.
his father that got, spoilers, his father that got murdered. Because they talk about the towns outside of their community. Now they did let them know, okay, there are towns outside of these communities, but the people out there are just vicious, and they do anything, and and he did. I think they did mention, oh, his father, like he could turn a nickel or something into something else,
Yeah,
into a dollar.
made some money that way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was like a big. Probably he was into. Oh, what do you call them? Who do? What do you call those people who do? Like they work for Wall Street.
Like investors.
Yeah,
Okay.
I wonder if he was an investor or
Maybe.
something. Sounds like he was, but he was pretty off. He was pretty wealthy, from what I understand, and that's probably where they got the money to do this.
Right, and so he probably connected with people that had the same
Mm-hmm.
experiences and just tried to live off the grid. And the story they made up about the creatures was the
Mm-hmm.
way they kept people inside the
Yeah,
village.
keep their children as children, and
Right, right. And I think part of the, what is the word? The struggle that people have was you could probably have more medication, people wouldn't get sick
yeah,
high, or treatments if you lived out in the world, but they kind of decided to stay. And that's the reason why I had to go
yeah.
to the town.
Because there was a doctor. There was a doctor there, and he basically, well, he was dealing with, like we said, centuries old type of Well, I don't know if they even had some type. Probably that he could make herbs or something. But he, like, that's why, Leanne said, um, Ivy went out into the what they call the towns, to look for medication, and she had a piece of paper with her.
With the names on it.
Yeah.
I think one of the really interesting things is that Ivy is blind,
Yeah.
and they sent her into the woods.
Mm-hmm.
And she made her. I would get lost.
Oh gosh.
I have my sight, and I would still get lost.
Oh yeah.
And she made it to the edge and got over the wall, and then she took her paper with, I think it was antibiotics because he had been
Yes.
stabbed.
Yes.
Right.
It was. Oh, I can't remember that guy who played the. He's mentally challenged.
Noah,
Noah.
and then his name's Adrian Brody.
Yes, Adrian Brody. That's what I was trying to think of. Adrian Brody. He plays. I was shocked to see him in this.
Yeah, there was a lot of big actors in
Yeah.
this, which was really interesting. So it appeared to be, the storyline was that Noah had a crush on Ivy,
Yes.
and she was, just a good person, and she was kind to him, and they played games together,
Mhm.
and she knew him pretty well. And he ended up getting jealous, and he
Yeah.
stabbed, um, is it Lucius Hunt?
Yeah.
So they,
Which was interesting. Ivy's sister originally wanted Lucius to
Yeah.
marry her. She like one day she just confesses her love for him.
right, right. There's probably not a lot of options in that
Yeah, I'm
village,
like,
right?
where? That's one thing I kept like, how are you guys gonna keep up a good genetic?
Yeah, they might have to bring some more people from the
Yeah,
outside eventually. Otherwise, everyone's going to be related.
yeah. Or there's gonna, yeah, there's,
Yeah, so her sister was interested in him, and then turned out he was interested in Ivy,
yeah.
and they had that nice relationship, and then all of a sudden,
Well, he did say, what again, they were speaking in this, I don't think, I wanted to say it's old English, but it's not. But he's like, he was saying, how is it when you will let me, you know, be the one who asks?
yes, I like that part
Yes.
too when they're sitting on the porch.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that part.
Yes, I like that
And
too.
then when she says that she can see his
Color.
color.
Color. See, and I was like, what do you mean by that? That's one thing that did catch me. I'm like,
Yeah.
what do you exactly mean
Yeah, I
by
think
it?
it's interesting. Some people have color to her, and some people don't.
Yeah.
I forget what his color. Or she didn't. Did she tell him?
She said no, he never did because when her father came in, and he said, uh, Father, I can't see his color
Yes. Yeah.
because maybe that meant he was dying or
Maybe. Yeah, I guess maybe she was talking about an aura.
Yeah.
Something that she could see with people. But yeah, so he was stabbed, and then I think that they wanted antibiotics.
Mm-hmm.
So then they sent her, and she had to traverse across the forest and potentially run into.
She had two guys. Two
That's
guys
right, I
did
forgot about that.
originally go with him, and
Yes.
she had to sort of say, "Oh well, I got these magic rocks."
Right, that's going to keep the creatures
Way.
away.
And then they're like, "Well, why haven't we heard of these rocks before?" And they went a little bit of ways with her, but then they're like, "Well,
And then they let her go.
yeah, they're like, forget this."
Yes, I forgot about the two boys. So they went home, and then she kept going. And
Yep.
she did eventually run into one of the creatures,
Yes.
and
It turned out to be.
spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoiler alert. It turned out to be what was his
Noah.
walk? Yeah, it turned into be Noah
And she killed him.
accidentally. She didn't mean to
She was
kill.
trying to be defending herself, right?
Yes.
Yes. So
I don't even know if she knew it was him.
I don't think so.
Yeah, because there was a hole in the ground, and then somehow, I don't remember how it happened. Did they both fall into it? Because I remember her climbing out of a
I think she
pit.
fell in at first, and then eventually, when she was fighting him, she pushed him in.
Oh,
I think. Yeah. I was gonna try to watch it again. I've seen it so many times.
I only watched it one time all the way through. Usually, I can remember a movie one.
Yeah, you have a really good memory for details.
Yeah.
So I guess the end of it is she fought the creature.
Yep.
She's still thinking they're creatures.
Yes.
Right?
No. She knows. She knows they're not creatures because her father showed her the those costumes.
That's right. Yes.
And said that it's. He used a word like it's all shell. It's all shell. Like I don't know if that's an old word for
right.
for false or
yeah, it's not real or something.
Yeah.
And so she gets, and I'm sure she was. I guess they never really got into that, did they?
Not her, but that's okay. It just but she did she not her, but her father went into further detail about
yes.
Jacob.
Yes.
And said, well, now from his death, it'll make our stories more real.
Right, right, yes. Yes. Yeah, when Noah dies.
Yes.
Yes.
And they'll bury him. I don't know where they're gonna bury him, but they said we'll find him and then we'll bury him, but through his death, it'll make our stories more
Right,
real.
right. Yeah, so she gets across the forest, she goes
Mm-hmm.
and gets her antibiotics,
Mm-hmm.
and then she goes back.
Yep.
And
And then I'm guessing that I'm pretty sure that what what's the man
Lucius.
Lucius?
Mhm.
He gets better, and then
And then they just
they
let us
probably
use our imagination
yeah. So
about
what happens next?
Yeah. So
That's what happens. And this was a very good movie. It's I would say it's not a thriller. It's not a horror really either. I mean,
mystery, maybe.
yeah, more of a mystery. I would
Yeah.
say
I don't think it got great reviews. I think it
no.
got 2 stars when I was checking it the other night.
Yeah, I
But
don't
I
know.
still think that it's
I think it's good
a
too.
good movie. Yeah.
I mean,
Interesting.
if you're looking on his, on like it's one of I would say if there's one of his movies to watch, this would be a good one to watch. Mine always go to one of his I like to watch is Lady in the Water. I don't know if
Yes.
you've ever
I
seen
have
it.
seen that one. Yeah.
I like that one.
Yeah, that's a good one. Signs is a good one.
Signs is good too.
Did he do the movie about the where the plants are like
Yeah.
attacking people? I
Yeah.
forget what the happening.
That happening, yeah.
Yeah.
He did that. That was the most weird. Is
That was very
it
strange.
was weird, and I not very, what I would say, entertaining.
It was slow. But they had big names in that one too. Mark Wahlberg was in that.
Yeah, and then I can't remember who his wife
I
was.
forget. But
I think the woman who played Ivy
uh-huh.
in was the one who played in Lady in the Water.
Yes, she did. It seems like Night Shyamalan
He uses a lot of the same actors.
Yeah, yeah. But he seems to attract big names too.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, interesting.
It is. It's you see what he and his daughter. I don't know if you've known that his daughter wrote and directed a movie. I think it was this year
No, I didn't know
called The Watchers.
that. Oh, I haven't seen that yet.
It's very good. It's
Okay.
very good. Another friend of mine, Mary, we went to the theater and saw it. She thought it would be too scary.
Mm-hmm.
It's not real, in my opinion, it's not real scary. It's more psychological.
That's a good way to describe his movies.
Yes, they're psychological.
Mhm.
Just like with Stephen King. Now, Stephen King's books really get me psychologically,
Mhm.
but the movies are totally different than what the books are because he's not involved with the books.
Right, right.
But yeah.
Yeah. Well,
So
thank you for having me.
oh, you're welcome.
This was fun.
Yep. And so we will cut it there and let's just say live it, like it, love it.